When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
What's up, Boise, Bronco Nation? BJ Rains here. It's Wednesday. That means Winston Venable is here. Episode 2. Yes, we made it to episode 2. It was not a one and done. The Winston Venable Show is here to stay. BJ Rains with you to kind of help pilot the ship, but the man that folks are wanting to hear from, Winston Venable, joins us on your screen as well. Winston, we got good reviews for episode 1. We watched the game film. We watched the tape. We got after it, and we're ready for episode 2, man. How's it going?
Hey, make little adjustments, make sure Bronco Nation News gets what they need, and another week upon us. It went by pretty quick. I felt like I was just talking to you the other day.
Yeah, he's those Tuesday night texts saying you good for tomorrow. I'm sure you were not excited to get that, but no, it was it's fun, man. We got some great reviews. Happy to have you back, and as we get closer to the season here, I think once we get into the season is where your expertise and knowledge is really going to help the listeners here. But if folks have a question or a comment, feel free to get that into the comment stream. YouTube is the easiest way. If you are watching us on YouTube, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, as they say, all the YouTubers out there, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the easiest way to get these live shows and broadcasts, but that's also the easiest way to get your comments in. So we cannot take Twitter comments. I don't know why our platform that we broadcast with doesn't take them. So if you're watching on Twitter, which I know many of you are, jump on over to the YouTube channel and watch us there, and then you can post a comment that we can get up for Winston to answer during the show, and that's just youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. So pretty easy to find it, youtube.com/Bronco Nation News, and we'll get your comment or question up there on the screen. We're broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktails studios. Make sure you check out Cutwater Canned Cocktails and grab one of those drinks next time you're heading to the grocery store or gas station. It's very, very affordable, very good, and we appreciate Cutwater Canned Cocktails. There they are on the screen, all the different flavors and things you can get. So I think Winston's going to be joining. Well, I know Winston's going to be joining us Monday night, Winston, for our in-season preview, and I think I talked to Mike Prater. I think I'm going to go ahead and get all you guys one of the Cutwater Canned Cocktails, and we'll have a drink together during the show on Monday nights. But looking forward to it. Monday, August 29th, 8 o'clock. If you are a subscriber, make sure you join us. Jay will be here, Winston, Mike Prater, John Mallory, maybe another surprise guest or two, but it'll be a subscriber-only show. So if you're a subscriber on Monday, you'll get a email with a link to watch the show in a private setting. And if you're not a subscriber, you still have time. Fall Camp 22 is that promo code. Jump on in for $52, and you can join us for our live subscriber-only show and have your questions answered by Winston or any of our guests. Winston, we're 10 days out, man. 10 days out from game day. Fall camp is such a grind. I'm sure the days at the time seem like they're going by slow, but all of a sudden you look up and school's back in session, and Oregon State prep has started, and we're 10 days from game day, man. What's the feeling like you think in that building right now?
Yeah, it's definitely excitement. I'm sure these guys are, they broke up that fall camp routine. So, get back into the swing of school, which is an adjustment in itself. But I think that brings that excitement, like I'm saying, where fall camp is over. Now we get to walk around campus a little bit, get our main focus, the academics, of course, first, and then get ready for Oregon State.
Always. We're going to talk offensive line today. I want to talk about Keikani Akoa, Holomia Gonzalez. I'm going to ask you to spell that for us. I want to start with your guy, Ashton Jeanty, because we saw the picture make its way on social media, and you obviously, helping recruit him, bring him in, didn't technically coach him, I guess, but to be a part of his recruitment, this guy very well, his family. First of all, tell us about his physical physique here when you see this picture, and just tell us a little bit about Ashton, because I know Bronco Nation's very excited for him this year.
Yeah, well, this picture right here, he is as advertised. There's no Photoshop going on in here.
Is there a photo somewhere of you shirtless next to him shirtless? Because I think that the comparison might be comparable, probably.
And there never will be that photo to find. So good luck finding that. It's not out there. But I'll tell you a quick story. When we were recruiting Ashton, and all these kids come on their official visits, unofficial visits, but they always do like a photo shoot in the weight room, and you get all your staff, strength coaches, support staff, and take photos with family and take with these players, and they get to put on the swag, and it's an awesome deal. You got some music going, and it's really fun to be a part of the recruitment process at Boise State. But one thing specifically we used to do was take pictures with the strength staff. So all the recruits would take pictures with the strength staff, and all of the guys, Coach Kagi and Brandon, all those dudes, they're jacked, man. And Ashton Jeanty did not look far apart from the strength staff guys. And that just goes to show you. And he's still in high school at the time, right? So sometimes
him and Reed Kagi bench pressing the same thing there.
Hey, I don't know where Kagi's at, but I'm sure Ashton is not too far behind, if he's behind at all. So it was pretty cool to see that photo, and you're kind of looking around like, hey, this dude is fitting right in with these guys. So he's jacked up, and that's just we like we said, we're talking his physical stature, and but the kid, he's a great person, and that comes from the foundation his family really set for him. Great people, military background. I think Ashton just high-class individual. He had some of the Ivy League schools, and Cal and Dartmouth, and Kansas came in late, and I think TCU was talking to him, but he's just a really good person, and that's what fits most with Boise State, is who he is as a person first. And I know that was a big emphasis for Coach Avalos, and what a great emphasis to have, really focusing in on who the actual person is rather than the athlete. You're getting both with Ashton Jeanty. So it's awesome addition for the Broncos and the stable.
Logan says it's the serious face that gets me in this photo every time. Rudy says that Jeanty's saying, quote, "I must break you." But when you guys got him, tell us about the recruiting process with him, because he's obviously a very exciting guy to Bronco Nation from the moment that he committed. It stayed that way. I know folks were nervous they were going to lose him before signing day. I interviewed him a couple days before, and he's like, "Oh no, they got nothing to worry about. I'm good." But up until you get that paper in, I'm sure there's always a little bit of nervousness with what happens on signing day and recruiting. But what's just was he a guy that you guys penciled that could come in and play right away? I mean, right now he's the only true freshman really even being talked about. Maybe James Ferguson Reynolds, the punter from Australia, but I mean, for the most part, we're not hearing too many true freshmen that are coming in and going to play this year. And usually you don't have a ton. You get a couple, usually the skill position type guys, but there's not a lot. He appears to be one that definitely is going to make an impact, potentially as high as number 2 on the depth chart at running back. Was he, how'd you guys find him, and what do you remember about recruiting him? And was he a guy that, right, I mean, did you guys expect him to come in and play as a true freshman?
Yeah, well, I think the idea was that we didn't really know, especially with COVID. We didn't really know who we were going to get back. Is Cyrus coming back? Is Andrew Van Buren coming back? Who knows? Is George coming back? What kind of season is George going to have? He's 3 years out of high school now and would be eligible for the NFL. So I think the big idea was, we need a guy that can come in and be a factor right away, especially because we didn't know what was going to happen with some of the older guys. And sure enough, it all worked out great for the Broncos, in the fact that Ashton is a guy we thought could come in and play right away and have a really good chance at competing. And then Andrew Van Buren happens to leave. Cyrus happens to leave. So there's an opportunity just waiting for him to just knock right through that door. So it's all kind of working out as I would think. He's definitely a kid that we thought was going to come in and be a factor, very versatile. So he can catch out of the backfield and line up at receiver. I mean, all sorts of things that fit Coach Plow's offense.
What you feel good about that running back room? I mean, obviously George staying healthy, I think, is obviously the key, maybe to the whole season, is George staying healthy. But they didn't have a ton of depth. They go out and get Zeke Noah's brother.
Yeah.
And you've got Tyler Crow there, but Taquan Tyler left the team for personal reasons. You mentioned the other guys that left. Not a lot of experience, at least at Boise State, behind George. But overall, I mean, if George stays healthy, I know this is a different question, but do you overall think there's enough talent in the stable there?
Yeah, I think that room got better for sure. I think it got better with the local walk-ons that we added. I think that room got better with Zeke's brother. Another Noah in the building is going to be a good thing for the stable and for the Broncos. Just if he's anything like his brother, and not to have any comparisons. I have an older brother you don't always want to be compared to, but just who Zeke is as a person, I can't imagine his brother's too far off of his character and integrity. So Zeke's awesome. And I do think that room grew for the better. Ethan Makita, Taylor Markham, even getting Caden Dudley over there. I mean, that room grew. Like we said, though, George, he's got to stay healthy, and he's the guy with the most experience. And Crow's gotten sprinkled in there, so he's going to have some experience. Noah's going to have some experience. But after that, you're kind of no guys, have really touched the rock at that high level. So, but I think in general, that room has more depth, and they're on their way to the top.
I'm not sure who I enjoy seeing more at the games, Tyler Crow or Mr. Crow. Mr. Crow's always fun at the games.
Mr. Crow is a fired-up gentleman who's bringing some energy from that tunnel every time.
Sometimes too much so at some of the games, but he's a good dude, and always enjoy seeing him at the games. And he's always out there usually when the team arrives with his dog, or he's always out there. And
well, you got to have his passion, man, and that fell right.
See where it comes from with Tyler. Yeah,
Crow's got some great passion, and that'll take you a long ways in this game.
Hey, before we talk offensive line, I want to thank a couple of our great sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union. See what over 500,000 Idahoans are, why they switched to ICCU. That's 1 in 4 Idaho residents are members of Idaho Central Credit Union. They got the great online banking. They're the official bank of Bronco Nation News, and we appreciate their support. You can get more information on their services at iccu.com. Ropaint.com, the title sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. There would be no Bronco Nation News without Ropaint.com. So next time you're looking for a concrete coating for your back patio, your garage, your basement, make sure to think about Ropaint.com. It's a game changer. They've worked on my house a couple of times, and it's a huge, huge difference in terms of what they're doing. So check them out, Ropaint.com. And our friends over at Lithia Ford as well. I just purchased a new truck, Winston, at Lithia Ford. They came and all the service was great, and I really appreciate their help and their support. Went out there and test drove a couple and found the one that I wanted, and couldn't be happier. I got the pic here somewhere with the family. There we are. There's the family with the truck. Lithia Ford took care of us and did a great job. So next time you're looking for a new vehicle, Lithia Ford. And if you're looking to sell your vehicle too, Lithia Ford will buy your used car, even if you're not looking to buy one. Just they'll offer you cash right there on the spot. So head on out and see them on Fairview. You won't be disappointed. Lithia Ford in Lincoln of Boise. Let's talk offensive line a little bit. Obviously, being the running backs coach the last couple of years, you're very in tune with the offensive line. You're very in tune with what's going on in terms of the blocking schemes and that kind of stuff, and the snapping. And last year, no Keikani Holomia Gonzalez. It was, which by the way, he said he's okay if people call him KHG. We were asking him that yesterday. KHG, the shorter version of his name. Some people, you never know. You don't want to be disrespectful if you're calling him a nickname or something if you don't know him. With Kekala Kaniho, we used to kind of call him Kala, and then we found out that's actually like a disrespectful thing in Hawaii, so we'd call him Kekala, the full name. So you never know. But we asked him, and he said, hey, I see people try to spell my name. I get it. KHG is fine. So in my story, I used KHG a couple of times. He actually talked about the heritage of how he added Hololamia to his name. It used to just be Keikani Akoa Gonzalez, but his mom's name is Hololamia, and he went to small claims court actually to change his name right before he arrived at Boise State so he could have. And I'm sure when Dale heard about that, having to figure out a way to get that whole name on the jersey, I'm sure that wasn't fun. But he's now Hololamia Gonzalez, and he honors both sides of his family. And I really enjoyed talking to him yesterday. He was a great guy. We're going to hear from him in a minute. But his absence last year, Winston, that center position, and not to speak negatively on anybody. I mean, they're college kids. They're trying. I get it. But the snapping was an issue last year. There were multiple bad snaps. I remember the Utah State game where Hank was basically had to make a couple amazing, saves to not have a snap go over his head in the end zone. You guys were rotating guys through in there. 3 different centers all started at least 3 games. And that it just seemed like Keikani being out kind of started a domino effect on the line where it was just a rotating door of guys in there, and you're trying different combinations. And especially early in the season, you guys couldn't run the ball when you couldn't get that set lineup, and I think that contributed to kind of the rough start offensively. How much was Keikani Akoa being out last year? How much did that hurt, and how much do you think him being back this year is going to help the line? Yeah,
major factor. Bottom line, major factor. Keikani he's kind of that glue, that centerpiece. So he's a tremendous leader, and he takes control of that offensive line with his communication and his smarts. He comes from a coaching background. His dad's a coach, and his football intelligence was really high. So losing a guy like Keikani last year was just it definitely was hurtful for the team. And throw in that we have a new offense, new O-line coach, new coordinator, all that stuff where you want that leadership. And don't get me wrong, Jake Stetz, OJ, those guys are great leaders. Those guys really held it down. But Keikani is that one piece that we were missing last year that was kind of that glue. And it so happens to be that center position, which is so valuable just with the chemistry and the quarterback exchange and calling out plays. I mean, you have to have some major confidence, football intelligence, and leadership to be able to play the center position.
Well, I mean, why is the center position like that? Why is obviously you have to snap the ball, but what else is going on in terms of communicating with Hank and having to know the protections and what's going on and communicate with the rest of the line? I mean, what all is on the plate of a center?
Well, I think it varies from team to team. Sometimes a center will call protection, making sure they're identifying the Mike linebacker, identifying who's blitzing and where the line is sliding. And, is it 3 guys going to pick them up, or is it all 4 guys are going to slide over and pick them up? And sometimes those are calls made by the center. Sometimes it's on the quarterback to make those calls. So in general, I would say that the center is very much just like a quarterback. Without a center, there's no quarterback. Without a quarterback, there's no center. But their responsibilities are very, very similar pre-snap. Everybody needs to be on the same page as far as all the identification on linebackers and safeties, where the targeting is for blocking, and that all comes from the center or the quarterback. So post-snap, is a whole nother monster as far as throwing the ball or blocking somebody. But pre-snap, quarterback and center are very much seeing the same things out in the field.
Rudy says, love this insight. Agree. It's great stuff that most of us know nothing about. We watch a football game and think we know what we're seeing, but we have no idea. Let's hear from KHG. Again, I really loved talking to him yesterday. Seems like a good kid. He's got his head on straight, and you could tell it just really pained him to not be out there last year when the team was struggling. Here is KHG talking about being out last year and now being back.
Last year was a big roller coaster. There was days where I definitely didn't know what my future would look like. But, that just always goes back to, just leaning on Coach Avalos, Coach Keene, Coach Plow was a big part, and, just my brothers and stuff, and, just praying a lot. So I really wasn't sure, but I'm very grateful that I'm here today. And it's definitely something that happened. I'm not really. We have great doctors here. I went through the full protocol. And I'm not really worried about it at all. I'm just grateful to be back out here, one day at a time, and just extremely grateful and blessed to be back on the field. Just personal, something that I had to go through, and it just was something I needed to do for my long-term health. And yes, sir. I feel very healthy. I feel much more clear mentally, and I'm just very blessed and excited to be back on the field. And just represent something way bigger than myself. Just really grateful. It was definitely really hard, obviously just sitting there and watching, you want to be able to help your brothers, but I just had to take a step back and, take care of myself before, I could come back or whatever was going to happen. But I just wanted to focus on being there for them, just keeping their head in it. Like I said before, center's not an easy position. A lot of people think you could just jump in there and play a center. There's a lot of things that go on, pre-snap, during the snap, and a lot of people think you can just throw the ball back there. It is something that you have to practice and rep, and sometimes it can go either way. But I just wanted to keep those guys together and do as much as I could off the field, just because obviously I couldn't suit up and play with the boys. I'm just really grateful for those guys welcoming me back in. It was really tough last year, leaving them on such a short notice. And I'm just really grateful that they've welcomed me in and, helped me build my confidence, even like when, getting back into the game, like I said, the speed and stuff. It's just been a really good group of guys. The communication is something that we've been emphasizing this camp, and it's been a really good starting point for this new offensive line. And I think that I take pride in making sure everyone knows what they're doing. So my emphasis this fall camp was making sure that we had very minimal missed assignments, and I think that's seen an improvement in our game. It feels really good. Just for me personally, just extremely grateful to be out there with the boys. Just every day, just a sense of gratitude, extremely blessed to be back out there with the boys. It's just fun, playing ball.
Well, there he is, Keikani Akoa Hololomia Gonzalez. He has 17 letters in the hyphenated last name. I did figure that out yesterday. I got a story up on him at BroncoNationNews.com for subscribers. So we talked to Tim Keene yesterday as well. So if you want some more on his journey and kind of what he was going through trying to get back, you can read that at BroncoNationNews.com. But you think about him back at center, Winston. Cade Beresford now comes in, the Washington State transfer at right tackle. You got OJ back at left tackle. And then, it looks like it's going to be Ben Dooley and Garrett Curran at the guard spots. I mean, that's a pretty formidable offensive line. I know fans don't like to hear it. They say, every year that O-line gets hyped up a little bit, and then it seems like, that a couple games in, that's what you do. You blame the O-line when something goes wrong, right? I mean, but yeah. It does seem like the O-line this year has a chance to be pretty good if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, there's a group of O-line before these guys, the Cleveland, the Larsons of the world, the Cavedos, and
John Molchons
and those guys. And there was, especially with like Larson at that center position, he brought this nasty to the group. And I think, when you look at Ben Dooley and a couple of these other guys, there's some guys in there that are going to have some nasty, and it starts with Keikani. And some of these guys are, OJ, like you said, he's a big teddy bear, but he's put some weight on and has some great size. So collectively, I guess what I'm saying is there's some similarities to some O-lines in the past that have had a good mold, and I think these guys are building a good mold, good chemistry. They have some leadership in some of those guys, and more than anything, they got some dudes that are willing to stick their face in some guys' chests and get them onto that ground and let them know about it. So I'm looking forward to this group. Like you said, they're getting some chemistry and some little bit like with Cade, a little bit more older and experience. So looking forward to this group going out there and working.
I know they it's some. No offensive line has the same five guys play every game. Somebody will miss a game for something. I mean, it just happens. But at least for right now, what does that do when you're not? It's not like last year where every game you're having to rotate guys and you're moving guy from one side to the other. I mean, if at least for a while here, this group can stay together. These five can stay in their same spots. And, what does that do for the chemistry you mentioned when you have guys that are know who's on their left, know who's on the right? They're in the same spot. They're not having to switch from left guard to right guard, go to center. Oh, we're bumping you out to tackle this game. I mean, if this five can stay together for a while, what kind of benefit is that?
Oh, dude, it's everything. I mean, it's I put myself in the position, you're playing linebacker, and Will linebacker, Sam, whatever, and you look over and you're looking at that middle linebacker, and you guys are just eye to eye and on the same page, and it's been the same guy in practice for 4 or 5 practices, the same guy in game day, and you do that for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you just know, just one look in your eye, it's on. So when you're communicating with the same guy for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're building that chemistry like we're talking about, come game day, it's like you don't even have to communicate as much anymore. You're looking like, hey, we know where we're going. We're double teaming this guy right up to that linebacker. And it's like, I mean, it's a beautiful thing because you've repped it and repped it and repped it. Okay, throw in a new, guy gets hurt. Now you got a new guy come in. Now probably more communication than ever because you haven't gotten that on the same page over weeks and weeks of practice. So it throws in a little wrinkle, that shuffle. But when you have that consistency, that goes a long way.
Rudy says dependable depth as well with Farah, Randolph, Holiday, some of the other guys potentially ready to come in. And Logan's asking about the preparation for he's in the Blue Thunder marching band, by the way. We love Logan. There were times during basketball season where they'd be up there playing, and he's entering the chat here from the pep band up in the spot, and we appreciate their support and appreciate you, Logan. But he says they'll be there for the first game, by the way. But does the preparation change for a non-conference opponent like OSU from a Mountain West opponent, and first game of the season too? What are you doing when you're preparing in terms of watching film for the first game of the season? I think they might even have a new defensive coordinator this year, but he was on staff, I believe. But what's the preparation like for the first game of the season and for a non-conference game that you're not as familiar with?
Yeah, I think with the non-conference games, it's just a little different because you might not be as familiar with the team as far as on a year-to-year basis. So you might have to get film and go through a couple different resources to get as much information as you can. You might be jumping on some other phone calls or figuring out, hey, who knows this staff or what connection do we have to try to get some answers, some inside info from a team that might not play every year or every other year that's in conference. But typically you're gonna end up collecting that film and getting that film and still putting in, the same preparation on a week-to-week basis, whether that's in conference or out of conference. So I wouldn't say the preparation changes much more other than, gathering the data and gathering the information to then scout and come up with your game plan.
The unknown though of the first game and what wrinkles are going to be in there and what you're not ready for. I mean, every other sport, hockey, foot, even the NFL plays 3 preseason games or whatever. I mean, to have no game tape of this year, I assume that's a little scary as a coach going into the first game. The unknown of if they're going to redo their entire playbook, or you can watch all the film you want of last year, but there's some new players. And Coach Keene was mentioning yesterday a lot of their players switch numbers too, so they're watching film, telling guys, "Okay, here's 56, but now he's number 2," and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that first game just is a little different, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you don't have that 3-4 game breakdown. There's only what they did last year, and then what if there's a new staff? What if there's a new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator? You really have no idea. That's why you're watching, and I'm not saying Oregon State specifically, but Penn State special teams now is probably people that are playing Penn State are probably watching Boise State special teams, and they're watching Utah State special teams. They're not watching Penn State. So it does change it up. It does. Are they going to do the same thing they did last year at Boise now at Penn State? So there's a great example right there where you just never know. And it goes to show you that the great ones adjust, right? I mean, It's all about in-game adjustments. And that's kind of, I want to say one of my philosophies, but you can do all that studying until, like we're saying, they come out and do something else. So you have to react, and you have to have the tools and the foundation and the base, the core principles of an offense or a defense to say, all right, well, if they do this, we already have answers for that. We have solutions. And the coaches have to be on top of their game and know, they're not running a cover 3 defense. They're running quarters the whole day. We have to have answers for that. You have to be able to identify it, make the adjustments. So the better coaches are prepared with the adjustments, in-game adjustments. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Hey, the Blue and Orange Store. Check them out, theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping on any order over $40 if you're not in the Treasure Valley. If you are in the Treasure Valley, they're out at the Western Idaho Fair, whatever it's called. The fair down there at the fairgrounds. They have a booth set up, so you can go check them out at the Western Idaho Fair. Get your Boise State gear. Blue is the color to wear if you're heading over to Corvallis, so make sure you got your updated coaches' sideline apparel, all that stuff. You can get it at the Blue and Orange Store. Hey, if you're looking for a fresh start or career change, anything from a big rig to driving an Amazon truck, check them out. TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. They'll help you with all the permits, all the things that you need to get out there towing that first load. So if you've ever thought of, switching up your career, becoming a truck driver is a very lucrative career right now because of the pandemic, and they can do it all for you at Transportation Compliance Service. Final minute or two here, Winston, as we wrap it goes pretty quick, doesn't it? 30 minutes.
Sure does. Time flies. You're having fun, man.
We're gonna have you on Monday night, by the way. If folks are just joining us late, Monday night, Winston's gonna stop by a season preview show. It's subscriber only. Looking forward to this subscriber only season preview show Monday at 8 p.m. So it'll be game week. We'll have Coach Avalos, the coordinators. We'll have just talked to the media earlier in the day. We'll have the official depth chart out. So we'll have a lot to talk about on Monday night, and we're going to have all of our co-hosts here at Bronco Nation News jumping on with us for a little bit to preview the season. So if you're not a subscriber, you still have time. Fall Camp 22 is that promo code. Jump on in. $52 gets you a full year of coverage, $1 a week, and you'll be able to get exclusive subscriber-only stuff. And we may make some of these other shows throughout the week, may rotate them a little bit and make them subscriber-only as well. So there may be a Wednesday where Winston's show is subscriber-only. We'll see. So you want to make sure you're a subscriber so you're not missing out on the content. And again, if you are a subscriber, we'll send you a link to your email on Monday, and that'll be the way that we can get that to you. Hey, if you're going to Corvallis, by the way, join us at Sky High Brewing. We're going to have a little meet-up, get-together the night before the game, Winston. So we'll be out there on the patio at Sky High Brewing. If you're heading over there, make sure you join us. They're not reserving any space for us. They're not really giving us any drink specials or anything. We're just going to kind of show up. So that's good. We're going to be over at Sky High Brewing. Make sure you join us if you are in town on Friday night. We'll be there about 5 to 8. We'll try to do some giveaways, have some fun. I'll bring some Bronco Nation News T-shirts, and we got some other stuff we're working on. So come join us, Sky High Brewing, Friday, September 2nd, if you're over in Corvallis. Final thoughts, Winston. Another show in the books. We're 10 days from kickoff. What from now until game day, when it starts to speed up a little bit here, and they'll technically be in game day on Monday. But what's kind of the mindset for the team right now? Fall camp's over, as I said. You're back in school, but it's go time, right? I mean, you're watching that Oregon State film. This has got to be an exciting time inside that building.
Yeah, no, it's go time for real right now. I think this is that bonus week. They're going to mimic exactly what they want to do the following week, and they're putting it all in. What plays are we running? Let's get it all dialed in right now and set up that playbook for this first game. So it's an exciting time for these guys. School's rolling, and they're just getting into that schedule, which is nice. So game week won't actually be anything new to them. It'll just mimic exactly what they're doing this week. They get organized with classes, make sure they understand, hey, there might be stuff to take on the road or whatnot, or get it all done before the road. But it gives them a good week to get prepared mentally and physically for what's to come here.
Hey, if you missed any of the Keikani Holamia Gonzalez interview, the full interview is up on our YouTube channel. We were going to talk Rodney Robinson, Winston, but this show goes so fast. We'll push that off to a different day. But Rodney Robinson, the safety, battling with Shale and Depot there at the field safety spot. You can watch that interview as well. The full interview is up on our YouTube channel. We talked to Tim Keene yesterday. So every day we're talking to coaches and players. Frank Miley is talking today. We'll talk to Jackson Cravens as well. I forget. Latrell Capel's on the list as well today. So we'll get those interviews up on the YouTube channel. So make sure you're a subscriber. It's free. It takes just a couple of seconds. You see the link there on the bottom, youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. And we're trying to build the channel here. Get more subscribers, but there's a big benefit if you're a subscriber because you have a chance to get all the content sent right to you, and you won't miss any of the interviews coming up. So make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. Winston, appreciate your time as always, man. We got the comments still chiming in. Appreciate the insight. Thanks for the input for the fans. Someone's asking about the game one score predictions. We'll save that for next. We'll save that for next week. We're going to have a little more of a breakdown. I've tasked Winston with giving us a little more of a look at Oregon State next week. We're going to kind of have the coach's view of maybe some concerns, maybe some areas where Boise State can try to take it to Oregon State next week. So I think next week's show should be a lot of fun as we actually dive into an opponent and a game and have some fun here. But always appreciate it, Winston. And it was a fun show, and we'll be talking to you next week, man.
Hey, right on, BJ. I appreciate it. We'll see Bronco Nation News next week.
Well, next Wednesday, every Wednesday, 9 a.m., the Winston Venable Show. And you can check last week's episode if you missed it on the YouTube channel as well. But appreciate everybody. We'll have the interviews up later today. Check out BroncoNationNews.com for all of our content there as well. Mike Prater and I will be back tomorrow 9 a.m. For his weekly segment, Jay Tuss on Friday, and we'll keep this thing rolling. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bronco Nation News, Bronco Nation.